Mercy, you finally arrived. Wipe the dust from your shoes and come in, sugar. Your presence will be such a tonic for poor, dear Mrs. Beaumont. She's been fanning herself by the window in a state of absolute agitation awaiting you. Now, if y'all can find it in your hearts to indulge us for one fleeting afternoon, we are going to make a brave pretense of having actually paid attention in those drafty schoolrooms of our youth. We are going to cast our eyes upon some literature. Oh, honey, don't recoil like a wilted gardenia. We had that very same visceral reaction, I assure you. But please don't fret. This won't be some dreary, moth-eaten fourth-grade book report, and it most certainly is not that wretched English 101 paper you ghost wrote for that adorably dull fraternity boy, the one with the jawline of a god and the intellect of a damp brick.
In the humid shadows of the South, music is never merely a matter of meter or rhyme. It is a blood pulse, a haunting choir rising from the red clay and the stagnant swamp water. These melodies are our true inheritance, carrying the weight of a century's grief and glory in the time it takes for a tallow candle to flicker and die. Within the span of a few desperate minutes, a song unearths the same ghosts that Toni Morrison, Zora Neale Hurston, and Jesmyn Ward spent hundreds of ink-stained pages trying to exorcise. The secrets they buried in chapters of typeset prose, the family rot, the hidden sins, and the fierce, jagged beauty of our land are all laid bare in the vibration of a single steel string. It is Black History Month, and in the New South, Black history is all of our history. Let's start with a simple question. Shall we take a walk? In the velvet shadows of the Low Country, where the moss hangs like tattered lace from the limbs of ancient silent oaks, there lived a voice that did not merely sing, it exhaled the very history of a people. Mahalia, a daughter of the New Orleans silt and the Mississippi's long memory, stood before the microphone as if standing at the edge of a precipice. She was the architect of a sacred space, taking an anonymous scrap of a hymn, a song born in the brush arbors and the tobacco barns of the 19th century, and claiming it as her own spiritual autobiography. The Hammond organ began its low ancestral hum, a sound that carried the scent of polished wooden pews and the cooling embers of a wood stove. It was a driving, steady pulse, like the rhythm of a traveler's staff striking the red clay. Mahalia did not rush. She spoke to the divine with the radical honesty of one who has seen the snares of the world and knows them by name. In the Jim Crow South, those snares were not mere metaphors. They were the physical and social traps set for the feet of the weary. Her voice, refined yet heavy with the dirt of the earth, turned the word "thee" into a shimmering multi-note prayer, elongating the vowels until they stretched across the room like the long shadows of a late afternoon sun. She was a first-person confessional, a reliable witness to her own feebleness. Just a closer walk, she petitioned, and in that request, the walk became the central journey of the Southern soul. To the uninitiated, it might have sounded like simple piety, but to those who lived behind the color line, it was a coded anthem of resistance. It was the currency of the working class, a liturgy of endurance for those whose only wealth was a faith that could move mountains. When she sang of crossing over Jordan, she wasn't just dreaming of a celestial river. She was navigating the transition from bondage to freedom, from the weary toil of the field to the dignity of the ancestor. There was no moonlight and magnolias daydreaming in her throat, nor was there the grotesque horror of the fallen plantation. This was sacred realism. Mahalia Jackson reclaimed the spiritual from the category of the folk ditty and elevated it to a sophisticated literary monument. She acknowledged the shadows without being consumed by them, standing as a pillar for the Church of God in Christ and the Baptist faithful who would soon march for their very lives. As the piano echoed the final resolute chords, the song remained, a connective tissue between the living and the dead. It was the music of the jazz funeral and the Sunday morning dew, a testament that despite the burdens of history, there is a profound, unshakable dignity in the walk.
Now don't stand there looking at me with those wide, wounded eyes, honey. I can't bear a scene when the humidity's this high. If you're looking for that melody, that sweet, aching little tune we just talked about, it's waiting for you down in the description. It's tucked away like a love letter you weren't supposed to find, but there it is, plain as the moon over the delta. And listen to me, sugar, don't be cruel. Reach out your hand and tap that like icon, and for heaven's sake, subscribe to us. A soul needs a little attention to keep from fading away into the wallpaper, and we've always depended on the kindness of strangers like you.